Hey, this is Amy with Flower Moxie, and I'm going to show you how to make a mini calla bouquet. They are coming back just as bootleg jeans have come back. I worked with them a lot when I was a new florist back in like 08, 09, and then basically people shifted to a more gardeny appeal. But I really like it because it's very modern, it's very clean, minimalistic. The most popular ones tend to be the white. And these are the mini. So we do sell the full callas on Moxie Blooms, but I will say I've worked with them one time and they are so big and large and in charge. They're kind of challenging to work with, so I definitely recommend the minis for a bouquet. But if you wanna, get a gaggle of, standard ones, then be my guest. So, calla lilies are pretty easy to work with. They're hardy, but there are a few challenges. The first thing that you need to know is you only want an inch of water. I did not follow my own advice when I prepped these, and I had like 3 inches and I split the stem. So the stem gets all soggy and slimy, and that's just part of it, which is why you only really want an inch of it and keep it in the vase by itself. Now, when you mix it into arrangement, it's fine, but when you get your flowers in and prep them, always just have them in a vase. The second challenging thing is they are curvy, and sometimes they don't curve in the direction that you want them to go. So when you're trying to build a bouquet, I'm gonna build this to where it's more like linear, maybe spilling over my arm. And this will be problematic because it's not curving in the right direction, but it is an easy fix. So what you do is you take your 2 fingers and basically you press with your fingers and you run your hand down this length of the stem, and ultimately you're breaking up the cellulose. Let's see if you got a good view of that. And I've straightened the stem, and that way I can position it in the way I want to. So I typically, have to go through, this one's good, and do each one, because it's kind of like when you drop a piece of toast, it's gonna fall like, jelly down. It's kind of the same with this. Like, they're always curving in the wrong direction. And every once in a while you find that perfect one and you're like, you angel. So I have to go through and do this. Perfect, it's curving in the right direction. I do have a split nasty stem, but I'm gonna cut that off. And sometimes I have to do it a few times on the same stem. Now, I would say I don't do this until I'm ready to design. So like when I get these in, I'm not gonna be smashing them with my finger because I feel like it does break down the stem. It will still hold up. Yeah, totally going the wrong direction. Okay, so I've straightened these as much as I'm gonna straighten them. I kind of alternated using my finger and sliding this down. So we were just talking about this. When it comes to callas, you're not gonna build them like a rose bouquet where you just kind of have this top. Part of the beauty of the calla lily is the stem. And so that's why when you see them in arrangements, they're kind of on their own. You leave a lot of stems where I normally cut stems short. I don't do that with the calla. So I build it in this stacked formation. So what I'm gonna do is I've got 2 colors here and I'm just going to layer them in, and it's always a little bit hard to get it started. So basically we're gonna layer them and then we're gonna adjust their lengths. And I have 20 here. I would say for a bridal bouquet, I would probably prefer like 30 to 40. You can always take some out. And so I'm laying them in my hands, and I have a row up here, and now I'm going to start the next row. And these are honestly a little bit broke down because I think that I screwed up with that 3 inches of water as opposed to 1. So we kind of see what's happening here. Sometimes they come in bigger. These are a little bit small, so I would just err on the side of like getting more. And then if you don't use them, fine, you can always put them someplace else. But I think this is perfect for the bride that, you know, especially if you're getting married in somewhere like a little bit more industrial, like a warehouse, and you're just want very clean lines, modern feeling. I think this is perfect. Yeah, these were, sometimes I get them and they're quite bigger than this. I kind of broke that one. Put that one on top. Okay, and we're done. Okay, so this is what I have so far. These are a little bit weak. We might have to skewer these, but let me see if I can work with it. So have them in my hand, and at this point, I'm gonna sit and adjust. Now I have a mirror here, and I did a pretty good job at layering them, but basically you're just putting them, like you're stacking them in layers to where not that much stem shows. You're trying to kind of curve them around. Not everyone is going to face the right direction, and that makes it look a little bit more organic. So I've got some droopy guys here. I can either, this is one that I bent. Great. So let's bring these out to extend them a bit. It doesn't just glide because it totally feels like rubber. And I like that it's not perfectly layered. I like that I can see a little bit of stem, but that boils down to preference. So I'm putting them a bit at different levels. And again, I feel like 10 more stems, like I'd make it a little bigger. Okay. So I've got another one that I've bent. Usually they're a little bit stouter, but we can always like run a wire or a skewer in them, which you have to do sometimes. So now it's a matter of how we tie it off. Don't use zip ties and don't use rubber bands. I think it's a little bit too strong. You can come in with a pipe cleaner, or also known as chenille stem, or my favorite would be stem tape or this waterproof floral tape. So what I'm gonna do is just pop it in the middle. We don't need to be heavy-handed about this. We definitely don't wanna, you know, really tighten down on these stems. Oh, come on. Okay, hold up, hold up. Here we go. Okay. This is very easy to remove. If you use stem tape, that will work just as good. Just remember to stretch it so the glue sticks to itself. Now, I've already told you I done ruined my stems. That was my fault. But you're gonna wanna give them a clean cut and cut them like straight across. So preferably I would want my stems probably to come out to here. Then I would wrap a really clean ribbon around it. You could have like a nice drape if you wanted to go with like a silk, and then you would carry it more like pageant style, like you would hold a baby or a football. And this is how I feel that the calla lily bouquet looks the best. I mean, you can hold it like this, but this is a little trumpety for me. So I think that this looks nice. And again, I might double this recipe. So this is only 20. If you want something larger, go for 30 or 40. But as you can see, this probably took about 10 minutes to make. It took longer just to re-straighten those stems. And then again, I can't emphasize this enough. Do as I say, not as I do. You really just want a small amount of water. Even this is probably 1.5 inches. I don't know, maybe 2 inches. I would lessen that and come in and pop it down. And just know that your stems will get soggy, they will split, which is why you just want a small amount of stem within that. And I probably wouldn't wrap it with ribbon until I got to the venue. just because of sloshing. But I love this. It's clean, it's very manageable, it's very DIY friendly. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. Visit Flower Moxie or Moxie Blooms to buy your DIY wedding flowers. And if you have any requests, let us know. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.